morning, Michigan Ultimate Survivor League members, owners, whoever's left watching these podcasts. I know a lot of people have probably won't be tuning into this one. I didn't even do one last week. I didn't even realize it, but with all the weirdness of the games being delayed and stuff, it was just a mess. Plus, it was Black Friday week, right? Last weekend, I believe. Maybe it's 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Nobody cares. But let's get to the nitty-gritty here. We are now in the Elite Eight in the Michigan Ultimate Survivor League Championship bracket. We're going to go over the past 2 weeks of playoff coverage, and most notably this week with crazy close games. Multiple games, plural. First things first, you're going to notice that I'm just going to be honest with you. This playoff bracket, if you look at this playoff tab right here, this is your main page, right? If you click on the playoff tab, this will show you the bracket. It is not visually appealing at all, unfortunately. But let's just talk about it here, okay? Last week, Happy Holidays had a chance to, throw off a rematch of the ages between Sag Nasty and Nasty Nutria. Happy Holidays. Christopher Russell, first year, did a great job, made it to the playoffs, unfortunately lost to the Sag Nasty Notch Puff Top Notch, and then 98.99 to 67. Steel City Sackers, I'm going over last week first. Dustin Hanson had a great week 2 weeks ago, beating Concussion Protocol, which is OJ. Scored 121 points. Amazing. The Clockwork Elves. Larry Weinberg talked trash and he was going to knock the elf off his clock, which I thought elf off his shelf would have probably been a better diss. But nevertheless, it is clockwork, I guess. But, it's the holiday season. How do you miss knock him off the shelf? I don't know. Haven't done DMT yet, so I've never met the Clockwork Elves. But if I ever meet them, I'll tell them about Larry Weinberg's attempt to dig at them. Then we got this long-ass name. We're going to call him Operation Mockingbird for now. Destroying Chubb Ertz. Sending Dom Valenti's back-to-back playoff or championship hopes down the drain. Congratulations, Dom Valenti, on a good season. You still got a chance of winning the playoff bracket. We'll see. Agenda 21 upset the Bleeding Blue Bombers. Pat Provost Sr. losing to Pat Provost Jr. Regular. I don't know what you call him. By a score of 118 to 54, I was pretty bad beaten. The Black Hole loses to my Balzac Ertz. The Dublin Drunks beats Play with Mike Ditka. He squeaked in the playoffs on the drawing, gets eliminated. Fly Eagles Fly, absolute destruction to the Night King. You would think this is a randomizer score. It wasn't. They put in a lineup, and they just got bludgeoned. And it wasn't even a bad lineup. It was good players from what I could see. Just absolute destroyed. Toon Squad beats the Tallywhackers. True Blue Wrecking Crew loses to Hockenstein in the first round. And we'll talk about the suck bracket here in a minute, but nobody really cares. Now, let's talk this week, okay? This week, this is probably the best week of playoff football we've ever had, real talk. And we've been in this the 9th year we've done this, I think. Let's start with brother versus sister for the second time in 3 weeks. Ben Miller versus the artist formerly known as Sarah Miller, currently Sarah Krasansky, probably eternally Sarah Krasansky, let's hope so. Sarah beat him 2 weeks ago to take the division crown and a first round bye. Second round, they've played face to face, and it was close. Sarah made multiple comments on the Facebook group talking about how she's sweating over Cole Beasley, who, by the way, had many game implications Mr. Beasley did with his sweet haircut. Nevertheless, Nasty Nutria defeats Sag Nasty by a score 105 to 96. We don't care about decimal points in this point, but we will in a minute. Nasty Nutria moves on into the Elite Eight, where she is 1 game away from being in the Final Four for back-to-back seasons. That would be a true accomplishment for Sarah and the rest of the league. Winning this league 2 years in a row, I'm going to say it's pretty much impossible. Even making it to the Final Four 2 years in a row is very, very commendable, like more so than anything else. I've never made it to the Final Four one time, Here we go down here with Steel City Sackers. Now, this was a great game. I was watching this because the Clockwork Elves is my son. My son's team is the Clockwork Elves. They had a great opening. Okay, they had like 91 points, something like that, in their opening game or something like that. So they were up huge. But then Steel City Sackers had a lot of people to play late Sunday, / early or Monday, and I left work. And my son texts me and he's like, "Oh, I think I'm going to lose." I'm like, it's possible. But the Steelers had a ton of points because it was only the first half. And the Washington football team was down like 14-3. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 2 touchdowns in the first half. I was like, this doesn't look good. I mean, I told my wife, I'm like, for Lennon to win, Ben Roethlisberger's going to have to do nothing in the second half, and the Steelers are going to have to give up a bunch of points. And that's exactly what happened. Ben Roethlisberger did nothing in the second half at all. And the Steelers gave up 14 more points, I believe, or even maybe 16 more points, or 17 more points. I don't remember. To the point where not only did the Clockwork Elves end up winning that game, they won by 10 points. The Steel City Sackers, ironically, the Pittsburgh Steelers, what cost them their season by just completely laying a goose egg the second half. In fact, they did worse than a goose egg. They scored negative 12 points from where they were in the first half. So, a tough bit of irony for Dustin Hanson, as the team he's named after cost him his season. So, yeah. We're going down here. Look up Operation Mockingbird. CIA implanted people in the media organizations decades ago to control narrative, and they claim that they don't do it anymore, which is BS. Kind of glad this team lost. I don't have to say that again. It's been a rough month for old Pat Provost, I think. But I won't believe it until Inauguration Day, by the way. I'm not saying, you can say all you want, but I will not say this is over. Well, I will say that this team's season is over. But the whole presidential debate, I'm not comfortable with, where we are as a country, whether, no matter what side you're on, you got to say, we just want civility, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't vote for either one of them, to be honest with you, but still, I'm not saying it's over till we actually see it, the inauguration. The Apache Chiefs, the Lone Seagrave squad, well, that's not true, Lennon won, they got the bye by winning in the last week of the season, and it came through. I need to shave, by the way. I look awful. I'm sorry. They win 102-83, moving into the Elite Eight. Now, I'm going to point a little bit on here because Pat Provost had the opportunity to do something that had never been done in the history of the Survivor League, which is if he had won this game, he would have played himself, not with himself, played himself the next week. Because his other team, the not quite so long name, but still equally pretty annoying to say, Partisan Zip aside, looking to Agenda 21 / Agenda 2030 and enjoy the YouTube rabbit hole, they defeated the Nantab Knights, who had a bye, Michael Myers, who not only had a bye, basically had 3 straight byes, and he loses in the first round. So, God, you never know what's going to happen in this league. He had 3 straight byes, essentially, because he won this division months or weeks ago, and ends up losing in the first round of the playoffs for him, second round of the playoffs total, to Pat Provost, who had a chance to have both of these teams. Even he's like, I don't know if I should have been on the same side of the bracket. In the playoffs, if you are good enough to get 2 teams in the playoffs, it's strictly seeded based. We don't go through and like, we can't have them play each other. Because in the regular season, that is a rule. You can't have 2 teams in the same conference. But in the postseason, it's open season. It's a lot of seasons. So, nevertheless, Pat Provost will move on to play the Apache Chiefs this week in the Elite Eight. Apache Chiefs hoping to get to the Final Four. They may have made it to the Final Four last year, but I think it was 2 years ago, so it's very tough. Then going down, my ball Zach Hurt, Cinderella story ends at the hands of the formidable Scott Miller and his Taco Tuesday squad. He's had a good year. I mean, he's been the best team all year, I would say. There's really no doubt about it. He kind of mailed it in the last couple weeks. And this week, in the first week in the playoff scores, puts up 121. So, I mean, hey, we still got 3 games to win the championship. But, I mean, if you're going to say who's had the best year, I mean, definitely Scott Miller has done a phenomenal job with his squad this year. I mean, putting up a 121 in the second round of the playoffs is nuts that you have guys that can still score that. Going down here, Mick DeBow, his season comes to an end. He had the second best season as of at the last week of the season. He was there's only 2 9-2 teams, I think. Maybe there are 3. Maybe Sarah's 9-2. But Fly Eagles 5 put up 134 last week, and then this week they don't fly nearly as high, only putting up 55 points, losing to the lovable Jeff Arbogast 55-75. Jeff Arbogast moves into the Elite 8 to play, not who I would want to play, Taco Tuesday. We'll see. I'm going to look at the rosters here in a little bit, see who Taco Tuesday has left, and we're going to do a quick matchup. We got a breakdown coming. Then Toon Squad. Corey Dull. A lot of Velada backed into the playoffs by losing, he lost, I think he lost his last 2 games maybe. Backs into the playoffs, backs into the conference championship, backs into that first round bye. Y'all looking at the score, right? 94.95 to 93.62. Oh my God, 1.33 points from winning and moving into the Elite 8. Toon Squad narrowly defeats a lot of Velada. So, there's that. And then finally, Hockenstein versus Malin Incorporated. Malin Incorporated, they had a bye. They scored 103 points. Good news for them. Josh Endicott, great season, man. You did well. Unfortunately, your run ends. Now, I thought, and I'm my mistake here, but there was. I'm not going to talk about the suck bracket much, but this right here is what we're talking about. Super Original and Monstars. I mean, this game. This is the closest game, I believe, in the history of the Survivor League, and it happened in the playoffs. Now, granted, it happened in the suck bracket, but still. This game was won by .05 points. Now, you think the game up top was close with 1.33. This is .05 points, okay? This is the third closest possible game. This is the closest game's ever happened. It happened in the playoffs. Let me just break it down to you. .05 points. You know what that equals? That is 1 receiving/rushing yard. That's it. That's all that separated these two teams from winning and losing. The only way you can get any closer is by having by losing by 1 passing yard or 2 passing yards, because those are .02 points apiece, whereas receiving and rushing yards are .05 points. So Monstars, we did our due diligence. We had Rudy Giuliani and his team from the hospital where he's diagnosed with COVID-19, get all the lawyers involved, do all the recounts, and unfortunately, much like in the real world, their search turned up empty. So, yeah, there is no Supreme Court to push this to. The My Fantasy League is the end of the line here, so there is no appeal. Unfortunately, now, this morning, it is 100% confirmed, official. Monstars loses by 1 receiving/rushing yard. So, just going to go over the suck bracket real quick before I go back into the main bracket. Next week's games, this is the Sweet 16, I believe, of... Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, this is the Sweet 16 of the suck bracket, Elite 8 of the main bracket. Super Original versus Providence Power, Freedom Fighter versus J Footman Can, Must Known Unknown versus Giggle Giggle, New Orleans Rock Chucks versus Kakambas, Zeke's Relationship Corner versus Password is Taco. Don Valenti has a chance of winning something still. 99% luck, 1% heart. Can I get a hot job? Tenacious D, Josh Crampton taking on Carry On Wayward Son, Brian David, and Savage FC, Patrick McNamara taking on Let Me Ask You a Question, the other Tom Farmer squad. So all of these teams still have a chance at winning free entry into next year, so there's something to play for. It's a Sweet 16. You get 1 extra week of playing with these guys. Just gives you something to do. It's the holiday season. You probably got other things to do, but maybe you live in Michigan and can't do a lot. Legally, that is. You know, by the way, we went to Jonesville last night to go get a pizza and something. Had to do a pickup somewhere. And there's a place, I forget what it's called now, Snyders Diner. We drive on US 12, we drive by Spangler's Diner, and we're like, what is happening here? This place, in the middle of a lockdown, in the middle of all the governor's ordinances, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, where the small business restaurant. This I don't want to talk political, but this is bullshit. The small businesses are just totally getting crucified over these things, which is totally unfair. By the way, you can go to a Walmart, you go to Kroger, and you can see more people than you do when you're at a restaurant. It's properly spacing out 2 tables anyway. But this place, straight up, there was probably, windows everywhere. It was nighttime, probably over 100 people in this damn restaurant, jam-packed, no masks, whatever, right? I'm like, well, I don't know. That's kind of bold and bizarre. So I get home and I get on Facebook, on my wife's Facebook, because I've deleted Facebook for the most part, and this company made Fox News, like national news, because they're like, fuck it, we need to survive. Go in and hit us with whatever you need to hit us with. We're surviving. Which, I agree that it's nonsense. I just hope that, I don't know. It's a touchy situation, but I found it was very, very interesting to drive by and see that, just blatantly, openly defying the nonsensical order, in my opinion, that it is complete bullshit that what they're doing to these restaurants. So, hey, more power to them, I guess. They're getting funding from people all over the country to fight these fines. So, hey, here's to you, Snyders Diner. Nice shameless plug. So if you're feeling like you want to go out to eat and don't want to drive to Ohio like we had to, go to Snyders Diner in Jonesville. Completely open. No mask, no social distancing required. Good old America for you. I heard the food's good, too. I've never been, but nevertheless, we're back off of that topic. So we hear enough of that shit. So let's look at, I'm going to do this real quick. Just open this in a new tab, maybe. By the way, I updated this bracket today. Oh, God, this is awkward. Oh, I can't stand this search feature. It's awful in this league. I apologize. I'm looking to see who started who. This is where we get down to the Elite 8. We can do this breakdown team by team if my slow-ass internet works. Why the fuck? All right, scoring history. First of all, we're going to look at Nasty Nutria. Nasty Nutria. Here you are, Sarah Krasansky. We'll look at quarterbacks, because that's really the bread and butter of the team. I'm not going to go all the way through, because nobody really cares. But let's look at who's here. Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Ryan Tannehill, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. So, I'll tell you who's not on that list. Patrick Mahomes, not on that list. Lamar Jackson, not on that list. You got a lot of stars in here, no doubt. But, you've got several. Baker Mayfield hasn't been played. Baker Mayfield's a player that never, he's crazy good. So that's who they got. Let's look at the Clockwork Elves, see who they've started, just to be fair. Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Deshaun Watson, and Russell Wilson. Also has not started Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes is on there, though. Aaron Rodgers is on there. Let's look at the top scoring. Give me 1 second here. This is not good television, I apologize, but I should have had this ready. My wife's going to be home soon with the baby, too, so it's going to get loud. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not doing that. You can do the research on your own. This is already probably long enough. But just want to break down just how important this game is. Nasty Nutria, Clockwork Elves, Apache Chiefs, partisanship aside, Taco Tuesday, the Dublin Drunks, Toon Squad, Malin Incorporated. You are 1 win away from guaranteed money, folks. 1 win away, because if you make it to the Final Four, all 4 teams get $50. Okay? And then you have all 4 teams get an additional chance to make more money. Because, again, top 4, $50 each. The losers of next week's games will be in the 3rd place game, where the winner of that game gets an extra $50, so $100. And then, of course, the winners of next week's games are going to move into the Muscle Finals, where you get a guaranteed $200 for 2nd place and $400+ for 1st place. So you end up, or actually more than that, I believe. Yeah, $500+ I don't know. The math's different every year, so I'd have to double check. But I mean, you're talking massive amounts of money. So yeah. So this is it. You win this week. You're guaranteed money. Good luck to everyone this week, including the suck bracket. If you're in the suck bracket, start a God blessing lineup. I'm pretty sure you will at this point because you've started lineups to make it this far. A lot of teams didn't start lineups when they probably should have. But there's no randomizer. So if you don't, you're out. So that's in the suck bracket. If by some abomination you're in the main bracket and you don't submit a lineup, you will still be randomized because of the fact that there's a lot of money involved, and that's where the integrity of the randomizer comes in. So, all right, you all have a wonderful weekend and get your lineups in. We will be talking soon. Have a good one.